Beattie here from JM Squared Vintage. Welcome back to the channel. First of all, Happy New Year. I'm pretty sure this is going out on the New Year, but I hope your holidays, whatever it is that you celebrate, were beautiful and full of love. And I hope you got to spend some time with family or friends that feel like family, or whoever it is that makes you feel whole, your pets, give them scritches from me. But either way, I hope you guys have had a beautiful holiday season. And now we are on to the new year. We are gonna start strong. We are gonna start off on the right foot. So let's talk about this shipment. I've got some really cool sales, some interesting vintage sales, some very quick sales, some things that took like very long to sell. So can't wait to kind of talk to you about, what these are, how much I got them for, how long I've had them for, what I sold them for, really just kind of bring you into that part of my process. But with that being said, surprising to probably not a single person watching this, I am running late. I am losing daylight. I am running right up against closing time at the post office. So I've got to get a move on. So why don't you go grab yourself a snack, grab yourself a drink, sit back, relax, and let's get into the shipments. So we'll kick this off with a really cool like 90s vintage piece. This is from a brand called Cafe. Now I have sold a couple pieces from Cafe. I don't remember Cafe like from the 90s, but the pieces that I found have either been silk or have felt really well made. This has kind of a cool like 90s mystical print to it. These are all images from like an ancient kind of mystical text, which I think kind of made it move a little bit quicker. But any piece that I've had from Cafe, again, they felt really nice and they've sold pretty dang quickly. So keep your eyes out for it. Let me know if you remember it, if you are familiar with the brand. All I know is that on the tag, it just says designed in Italy. It doesn't say made in Italy, it says designed in Italy. So maybe it was an Italian house back in the 90s. I don't know, marketing was different back then. But I do always pick these up when I see them because I think that they're really cute. And again, in terms of like 90s vintage stuff, this does feel like very well made. So this guy I had for just 1 month and I had it listed for $34 and it popped off as a full price sale. So there you go. And of course, I mean, I feel like this is gonna surprise nobody, but this was a Depop sale and I'm pretty sure that every piece that I've ever sold from Cafe has sold on Depop. So maybe there's something there. So anyway, it popped off as a full price sale at $34 with a $1 cost of the bins. This brought me to a profit of $31.12. And I hope they love it. That is such a cool, unique vintage top. Next up here, we've got this super cute vintage inspired dress from Hell Bunny. Now, Hell Bunny is one of those brands in the vein of like a unique vintage or a mod cloth where they do kind of retro inspired fashions. This is obviously a little halter dress. It is a size extra small. So I thought that this would actually take a little bit longer to sell than it did. But obviously pleasantly surprised that it moved as fast as it did. So these are the kind of things that I will pick up anytime I see them. I am comfortable paying up for them. You should be as well. I talk about this a lot. This is one of those kind of styles of clothing where there's just a limited pool of manufacturers that are making things like this. So it's a high demand thing with not a lot of manufacturers and not a lot of actual volume of this stuff out on the market. So they do tend to go pretty quickly and for a very decent price. They don't retail for crazy amounts. They're not cheap by any sense of the word. And I will say, like, when you find vintage inspired stuff, even if it is like an Amazon brand, like I've sold Amazon brand stuff in days, right? For good prices. So just keep your eyes out for this kind of retro inspired stuff. There is just a definite lifelong dedicated market for it. But Hell Bunny is one of those brands that I do like. A lot of their stuff can lean a little bit more towards like the darker vintage, which, a little bit more black, a little bit more like goth inspired. And again, like when it comes to niche fashion, like that's an even smaller pool of manufacturers that are doing stuff like that. So I had this listed for a week and a half at $38 and I got an offer for $35, which I gladly accepted with a $1 cost of the bins. This brought me to $32.03. Again, this was also a Depop sale. So if you are not cross-listing, first and foremost, you should be cross-listing. This should be your thing that you do in the new year. If you are not already doing it, like cannot stress that enough. I will have a video coming up soon talking about like my tools of the trade, and that includes like the software that I do use. But anyway, make that your New Year's resolution cross list and make sure anything like that is on Depop. Next up are these funky little pants that I found from Splendid. Splendid is not a brand I pick up all that often. These were just really unique. These are like track style pants and they're made out of cpro, which a lot of manufacturers kind of advertise as vegan silk because it does have a hand that is very similar to silk. This is obviously very stretchy. It's actually made using the like waste of cotton production. So it's an interesting textile. There's a lot of controversy over whether or not this is a trash fiber in the garment world, but it is being marketed as vegan silk and it does feel dreamy. But Splendid is a very expensive brand. Like if you were to go and buy this at Nordstrom, these probably were like $150 to $175. They do sell them at TJ Maxx, but this pair of pants was just so unusual that I decided to grab it. You know, for $1, it's not a super high risk. Anyway, I had them listed for about a month and a half at $28. And I mean, just so you know, like with Splendid, you're not gonna get much more than that. Like most of the sold comps in Splendid pieces are between like 15 and 25. So within a month and a half, I got an offer for $22, which I did accept. With a $1 cost of the bins, this brought me to a profit of $16.60. I will say the exception to that is some of their dresses. Their dresses will go a little bit higher, but if you're looking at like t-shirts, long sleeve tees, kind of sweatpants, don't expect much more than like $25 for them when all is said and done. Next up is this cute Zara midi length caftan. I just sold another one of this exact model like last week, maybe 2 weeks ago, in like a mauve color. And I had found 3 over the course of a few weeks from the bins, all in the same size, same exact dress, just different colors. So you've got to wonder if they're coming from the same closet. Either way, I mean, it's Zara linen. I'm gonna pick it up. People really like Zara linen. But this was in excellent condition. It was that nice butter yellow. It's being purchased in December, so you gotta wonder, is this gonna be like a vacation? Is this gonna be a swim cover-up? Is this gonna be used as like a true caftan? Anyway, I had it listed for $28, got an offer for $20. With a $1 cost of the bins, this brought me to a profit of $15 even, and I am happy to be sending this on its way. I hope she loves it. Oh, this was a cool one. Now this is one that my mom found. This is a J. Jill like overshirt. This is, I believe, 90s vintage J. Jill with this nice, like soft, like wide wale corduroy. I love the velvet patch here. This is the thing that I love the most. So it's a velvet little patch and it's got a little bit of a pleat here for movement. We all know I love a J. Jill piece, and this is like the exact kind of thing. Corduroy overshirt is not just being shopped for by, you know, the typical J. Jill consumer. Like corduroy overshirts right now are very much trending in like youth fashion. So be sure you're using those terms, corduroy overshirt specifically. Use all the different names for what this color could be considered, you know, deep red, wine, burgundy, maroon. Just, you know, because you never know. Like all of these colors have definitions. Like there's a definite difference between like a maroon and a burgundy. But the fact of the matter is the public generally doesn't know what that nuance is. So they're gonna search for whatever's the first color that comes to their head. So make sure you're using like multiple colors if you have something like this that is like a deeper red that's got a billion different names for what the color could be. So this was a not surprising, very quick sale. I had this listed for $34 for just under 2 weeks. My sidekick sent an offer for $30, which was accepted with a $1 cost of the bins. I think my mom got this at her bins back east, so probably more like 75 cents, regardless. That brought me to a profit of $23, and I hope she loves it. That is in like mint condition for a vintage piece. Next up here, this was a lightning fast sale. And this is a beautiful floral sweater tunic from Soft Surroundings. There was no tag in there, so I was pretty sure that this was a size XL. And it's funny because one of you had mentioned that you wanted it. So I listed it at night, and then overnight it popped through with an offer, and I thought it might have been you. Alas, it was not. So this was just something that sold in a matter of hours. So that has not been my experience with everything from Soft Surroundings, but I will say that Soft Surroundings stuff, when you hit size XL and up, tends to sell very, very quickly. Size small, medium is generally a slow seller. It's a little bit more of like a mature brand. So in general, in more mature brands, just larger sizes are gonna sell a little bit quicker. So anyway, had this listed for $32 for, again, just a few hours, and got an offer for $25, which I did accept. And with a $1 cost at the bins, this brought me to a profit of $19 even. I hope she loves it. It really is so beautiful. I love that like moody floral. Make sure you're using that term moody floral if you have like a darker floral like that, because that is kind of like a style note that people will put in search bars. Next up, keeping up the pattern of selling swimsuits in the winter. This is a great classic black swimsuit from Blue by Beattie. It wasn't a brand that I was familiar with, but it felt really well made, and it was a good size. I want to say that this was like a size 14 or 18. And a good basic black swimsuit is always gonna be, in general, like a quick seller, as long as it's a decent brand. I think Beattie is sold maybe at like Lord & Taylor, Macy's. It's not one of the super high dollar swimsuits that you're looking for, like Frankie's bikinis, Jade, stuff like that. But this was still like a really nice high quality swimsuit. I did get it at the bins. So I had this listed for about 4 months. It's so strange. I've had so many swimsuits like listed for months and months and months. And like come December, I've sold like 9 swimsuits this month, which is crazy. But like the last 4 months, including like August, I sold none, you know, like it was kind of wild. Anyway, so I had this listed for $30 for about 4 months. I got an offer for $20.65. I was, you know, happy to move this on in December. And with a $1 cost at the bins, this brought me to a profit of $17.38. And I hope they love it. It is a really nice, like it's a perfect black swimsuit with like interest to it. So that's always just gonna be a good seller. Next up, this one is from my mother-in-law. This is her vintage skirt. As she said, this is what she used to wear on Christmas. And this is a real deal Scottish maxi length. I think for most, she's very petite, so for most people this will be like midi length. A real deal Stuart plaid kilt. Obviously kept meticulously. There were a few tiny little moth holes, but for the most part they're either down at the hem or like hidden in the pleat. So it's not a big deal. Like if you were to look at this, it looks mint condition. This is vintage, I wanna say from the 80s. And she brought out 2 of these. You know, better to get them back out into the world. It still had the kilt pin and everything. Better to get these things back out into the world and getting some use than sitting in a closet. That's the way to honor the memory of a piece like this. And this did end up as a Depop sale. And the interesting thing is, like I said, she sent 2 of these. She brought 2 of these out, and both of them have been getting so much interest over there. So there must be some kind of like micro trend happening on vintage kilts. I also just think that these never are like out of style to a certain group. You know, like this is true Scottish, it's made in Scotland, it's 100% wool. It's Stuart plaid, which is like one of the most, it's Stuart plaid and Night Watch plaid. I'll see if I can get pictures of the 2 of them right here so you know what I'm talking about. Stuart plaid and Night Watch plaid are the 2 like most popular plaids out there. So make sure, like if you are selling something like this, take a little time to figure out the name of the plaid, because like people will search for specific plaids, especially if you're dealing with something that is Scottish, that's probably like a tartan for a family or a clan. You wanna make sure that you have those names listed because people search for it. So this I had listed for $48 and I had it listed for just 2 weeks. Lots and lots and lots and lots of interest on it. And I had it listed for $48 and I got an offer for $37.90. And again, this is a Depop sale, which I did gladly accept with a $0 cost to me. This brought me to a profit of $35.94. And this beautiful kilt is going on to live another life, which makes me very happy. And I hope it makes her happy too, to see these things off to a new home. Next up, the Lululemon crop leggings. This is called the Way Home crop. These were one of the more expensive crops. Crops in general are not things that I pick up all that often, like from Lululemon, certainly not from Athleta anymore. They're just not as in demand. Like there was a good amount of time where when you heard the term athleisure, you were talking about Lululemon leggings. That's what people wore, you know, during the pandemic. It was like Lululemon Aligns, sweatshirt, whatever. But today, athleisure is more like a matched sweatsuit. You're not necessarily seeing Lululemon leggings being worn like casually as much anymore. So there's always going to be a market for crops. There's always going to be a market for leggings, but it's no longer like the general masses that are buying them. It's more like, I prefer to work out in crop length leggings because X, Y, and Z. So it's just gone back to like the utility pool, if you can imagine, versus like the fashion and utility pool that is buying these. So just like, don't be paying up. Don't be paying like $15 for Lululemon leggings if you see them out in the bins. I know how much they cost, but at this point right now, like unless it's something that you know, like it's a mint condition Align legging, it's, you know, one of like the currently made, in demand, sold out, or limited edition kind of leggings. It's just not gonna move that fast, and it's not gonna move for all that much. And I think that there's a lot of thrift stores out there that are still really jacking up the price of Lululemon. In fact, let me know if that's the case where you typically shop. Are you seeing Lululemon leggings jacked up to $15, $20? If so, please don't pick them up. There's just not enough meat on the bone for you right now. Again, unless you really know what you're looking at and you really know what people are seeking in terms of Lululemon. Anyway, I had these listed for 8 months. They were a size 10, so it's not like they were a size 2. They were a size 10. They were a good size. I had them listed for $34. I got an offer for $27. I was happy to be moving these on. With a $1 cost of the bins, this brought me to a profit of $23.36. So hope she loves them. They're in great shape. These were like $118 pair of leggings. So hope she loves them. Hope she gets some good use out of them. All right, next up here, this is a cute little like sweatshirt jacket from Saturday Sunday. Saturday Sunday is an Anthro brand. I really like picking it up. I've heard mixed things from other people. It's not something that's like a blisteringly fast sale, but I just find that their styles are kind of timeless. Their textiles are really nice. I think that their build quality is nice. So it's a brand I do pick up quite a bit of and sell quite a bit of. It's not something that I would necessarily be like paying up for. I wouldn't be paying like $10 for something like this. But if you see it in the bins, it's generally like a pretty safe bet. And this is a size small, but this moto style like sweatshirt is something that I'll pick up anytime I see it in pretty much any brand. Moto style anything is just something that tends to sell itself. Make sure if you have something like this with that kind of crossover zip style, make sure you're using motorcycle inspired, motorcycle jacket, moto sweatshirt. You're using those keywords and leveraging that style. Because like right now obviously this doesn't really like jive with like the core aesthetic. One of the things that the kids are looking for is kind of biker style stuff. So like anything vintage. Harley Davidson is like a crazy fast seller. Definitely one of those things that I will never get my hands on in our bins out here because we have people that are there like specifically looking for stuff like that. You see Harley Davidson stuff while you are out thrifting, guys, pick it up. Pick it up. People are paying big dollars for vintage biker stuff. It's pretty crazy. Anyway, I had this listed for about 6 months, $32, got an offer for $27. And this is roughly the story I see with most of the Saturday to Sunday stuff. This sold a little bit slower than most of them. Most of them go within like 2 months or so. $32, got an offer for $27, which I gladly accepted. With a $1 cost of the bins, this brought me to a profit of $20.60. And I hope she loves it. It is really, really cute. It's French terry, it's ultra soft. It's just a nice little like easy topper piece. And finally, this was a fun one. I picked this up because this was embroidered and I'm like, okay, so that's like well done. It looks intentional and it's French terry. So I literally could not read the label in the bins. I did find this in the bins. And to be totally honest, when I got home, I had to take a picture of it and zoom in on it. So I'm gonna get this really close. Hopefully you can read that. But what it says on there is ISMBS, which stands for, I really had to go on like a spirit quest to find what this was. So this is a brand called I Stole My Boyfriend's Shirt. And they're one of those just like really high-end loungewear designers that, you know, this probably retailed $100, $150. Very, very expensive. Some of them resell pretty high dollar. Now this was a size extra small and this, I think, style was like maybe 2 or 3 years old. If you get your hands on one of the more recent pieces, like they'll resell for like 80 bucks. An expensive brand. Keep your eyes out for it. Let me know if you've ever found a piece by them. If like this was something that I picked up purely on gut, just because the style told me it was probably something nice, like the fabrics felt really nice. And I didn't know what it was until I got it home and I started to like dig down that rabbit hole. But let me know, like, have you found it? How did you find it? Did you find it the same way that I did? You're just like, this feels nice. Let me pick it up and give it a try. Or did you know what it was? Let me know. Have you sold it? What did you get? Etc. Let us know. But either way, this is the only piece I've ever found while out and about thrifting, and I was pretty stoked once I got it home. And again, it's like a little bit of a bolo that we should all be keeping our eyes out for. So this was an extra small, so it was gonna be probably a slower sell regardless. It's just a smaller pool of buyers. And I had it listed for $44 and I got an offer for $38, which I gladly accepted with a $1 cost at the bins. This brought me to a profit of $33.74. So I hope she loves it. It is super cute. I'm just always happy to be able to find a brand like that. I hope I find some more stuff from them. I thought they were really cute. And again, they resell for a great price. But that is it, guys. That is the shipment for today. Thank you so much for hanging with me while I literally get my work done. I am, of course, very close to closing time of the post office, so I need to get these things loaded into the car and off there. So guys, if you had fun, please consider leaving a like or comment on this video. Of course, don't forget to hit subscribe. I would love to have you along on this journey. But without further ado, guys, Happy New Year. Have the most beautiful weekend. Let's start this year off strong. Happy hunting, and I will see you all in the next one.